So we've been having an issue with Umbraco Cloud. We recently put a new site up on the cloud platform and we put it onto a starter plan so that our client could go and test things. Within a day or so, that plan was automatically upgraded to the cloud standard plan because we reached our storage limit. There's only 5 GB of storage included on the starter plan. So that actually took our cloud cost from somewhere like £37 a month up to £240 a month. That's a 650% increase in cost, which is a little bit absurd if you ask me. And we're not the only ones that are complaining about this. I found just by a very quick Google a thread on the Umbraco Facebook page where Richard here is complaining about the exact same scenario. So I wanted to show you what we've done to actually fix this. You can see here I've got my cloud project with about 2.5 GB of media, and that's only going to grow as the image processing cache, etc., builds. Umbraco Cloud uses blob storage by default to store all of the media, and we can potentially offload that onto our own blob storage. So that's what we've done here. Now, the way Umbraco configures that is completely transparent to you as a developer working on cloud. It sets environment variables, and we don't really have a way of overriding those things. We could go in and disable the way that cloud actually configures the storage provider. So you can see here, this is what it's doing. It has a composer that actually lets you see exactly what's going on for the configuration. It's just configuring the same open source blob storage provider that people use elsewhere. If you look in the blob storage options, you can see it's only really taking in an endpoint and a shared access signature and building out a connection string that way alongside the container name. So we essentially need to replace those with our own, and we could then pay for storage elsewhere at like 10 pence or 10 cents a gigabyte and not £200 a month. So to do this, how do we override those? Well, Umbraco lets you configure secrets and manage those directly in the portal, but they reserve the Umbraco __ cloud prefix, so we can't use their configuration manager. The way that configuration in .NET works means that it's layered, so it will first process your JSON files, then your environment variables and other things. So we don't actually have a way in our config to be able to set those up either. But thankfully, there is a solution. So all .NET Core applications still ship a web.config file, and that web.config file has the ability to set environment variables in it. So we should be able to come into here and set the exact environment variables that we need and we care about for our project to talk to our own Azure Blob Storage account. You can go into Azure here and create a storage account. And you can set that up as you would any other storage account. So give it a friendly name, make sure you choose the same region as the cloud platform that you're in, and choose your level of redundancy that you want. Make sure that you set it so that it's individual items are allowed to be read in the container, and away you go. Once you've done that, you're able to create a series of SAS tokens for your storage account, and using those, you can actually configure the application. That's all that Umbraco does themselves. We wouldn't recommend modifying this web.config file, partly because it's generated on build and you have no control over it. But we can utilize a feature in Umbraco for config transforms. And so config transforms allow us to create a web.environmentName.config file that applies over the top of that web.config. So if we jump over here to VS Code quickly, you can see kind of exactly what this would look like. Create a web.production.config. This is to apply to the production environment. Have your location element with basically targeting the environment variables element that Umbraco will read from. And in here, we can override those variables that Umbraco's setting in cloud. So you give it your endpoint, the host for your Umbraco for your blob storage account, and then you give it your shared access signature. This is the token that effectively gives permission to this web app to talk to this storage account. And that's it. We were able to move all 20 gig of our media straight off and downgrade back onto the starter plan, saving us a good £200 a month, literally 650% saving. We pay about £3 a month to Azure to host our media there instead. So it's a much better option. much more viable. If you need to downgrade your plan, you'll have to talk to Umbraco support directly. But I hope this helps some people. Thank you.